Will everyone that is able please stand as the Michigan Department of Corrections Honor Guard presents the colors.
Honor Guard, post, coat.
The Michigan Department of Corrections is proud to honor our country. We do that through the words and music of our national anthem. We are privileged to have Taylor Bordeaux of Marquette Branch Prison sing our national anthem.
Class, present, on!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes set bright stars through the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bullets bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, on!
Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here today. I'm pleased to welcome you to the Michigan Department of Corrections as members of the Sally Langley Class. Sally joined the department as a school principal and retired as warden of the Florence Crane Correctional Facility in Camp Branch. I can't remember the first time I met you, Sally, but it was a long time ago, and when I think about Sally's career and I think about the conversation that we recently had, you know, Sally really exemplifies the type of opportunity that exists in the department. We talked about how there's no one path to, anywhere in the department, depending on where you want to end up in your career. Many people start out as a custody officer, and some people, like Sally, started out as a principal. And she became a warden, and that's where she finished her career. And I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to be able to honor her by naming this class after her. As a former educator, Sally knows the importance of continued learning, and that's something that we're very focused on in this department. It's something that we take great pride in. I'm sure you've already come to realize this during the last 8 weeks of this academy. Because let's face it, training to become a corrections officer isn't easy, as you now know. There's a lot to learn. There's early morning drills and late nights spent studying, but you're here today because you were focused on a goal, and your platoon leaders and training officers were focused on helping you reach that goal. They've provided guidance to help you learn and grow as new correction officers, and you put in the effort to earn the seat here today. They were focused on your success, and so are we. You'll find many opportunities to learn and grow in your careers with the department. Though your time in the classroom has ended, your training does not end here. And in fact, as we discussed when we previously met, you'll be learning every day. We've continued to enhance training for all employees. It's something we're very invested in. We've invested in new technology, and we've developed new approaches to offender success, like motivational interviewing, which helps us empower offenders to make better decisions that lead to long-term change. Just like the crucial training you received throughout this academy, the training you will receive going forward is an investment in your future and in your success. And we know an investment in education is the most powerful investment anyone can make in their future. And that's true for prisoners too. We want offenders who come through our doors to leave with the education and job skills they need to become successful citizens. We want to break the cycle of criminal behavior that brought them to prison in the first place so they don't commit new crimes. That leads to safer communities and better lives for all of us. That's why we've introduced programs like our vocational village, and we've talked about that as well. We have 2 vocational villages, and soon we'll be opening our 3rd. Vocational village teaches prisoners high-demand trades, so they're learning skills that will help them become employed when they leave prison. We've also expanded higher education opportunities for prisoners, and we have invested in front-end programming for probationers that helps them be on a path of success instead of a path toward prison. We've come so far as a state in improving public safety that today we're a national leader in the field. Not only that, but just this week, we were so proud to announce that our recidivism rate has dropped to the lowest rate ever recorded in the state's history at 26.7%. That's one of the lowest in the nation and makes us, again, a national leader. We didn't get here by failing to hold people accountable, though, and I want to make sure that you understand that. We got here by introducing innovative programming that has drastically altered trends in crime and made our communities better places to live. We're proud of what we have achieved as a department, and enough can't be said for the role that you will soon play in the lives of those that you supervise. So as you work to protect Michigan citizens and each other and the prisoners under your supervision, remember that you have the power to change lives for the better. You have an incredible career ahead of you that is full of possibilities. I look forward to all that you will accomplish and all that you will help the department accomplish. Congratulations on your achievement today, and good luck. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sally Langley Class Representative, Leland Nellis III.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the Sally Langley Class of 2020 graduation. I want to thank Director Washington, distinguished members of the Michigan Department of Corrections, and all of our families and friends in attendance. 8 weeks ago, 30 strangers walked through the gates towards the facility, all of us on different paths, from veterans to truckers, machinists to fast food workers, students and those looking for a better path. Many questions have been asked about our new path, ranging from why prison, why corrections, and why put yourself through that. Our answer is because we all share the same values as the Michigan Department of Corrections, from integrity to honor to leadership to respect and loyalty. We believe in and want to spearhead the mission of the Department of Corrections, which is to create a safer Michigan by holding offenders accountable while promoting their success. Over the course of the last 8 weeks, we have been tried both mentally and physically. Many of us have traveled many miles from different towns and communities to be here. We put our lives and families on hold. We spent countless hours working and learning everything we could about policy, procedures, and hands-on tactics. I believe we have been pushed and have succeeded expectations in our physical and mental abilities. When one of us thought, that's it, we're done, someone was always there to pick us up, dust us off, and push us beyond our limits. Our main goal was to graduate this academy, but in the end, our goal changed. It changed to not only graduate, but to become the new face of the department and the best trained officers in the Michigan Department of Corrections. In no small part, our goals changed due to the very best instructors the state of Michigan has. Captain Mesnard, Lieutenant Barr, FTO McBride, Corporal Downs, and all of the adjunct trainers who, despite our failures, struggles, and the lack of discipline, they never gave up on us. They molded us and pushed us to be the very best versions of ourselves. For that, we thank you. The bond struck here in the last 8 weeks will last an eternity. The lessons learned will always be foremost in our minds. It wasn't always easy or enjoyable. At times it was difficult, and we may have faltered, but we never yielded, nor did we lose our squares. As a team, or more so a family, we persevered to reach our goal. We are no longer 30 nervous, undisciplined strangers. We are 30 members of a proud, well-trained corrections officer family, ready to report to our facilities and do the very best job we possibly can do. We have the knowledge, fortitude, passion, training, and ability to become successful corrections officers. Thanks to Captain Mesnard, Lieutenant Barr, and FDO McBride, we are extremely thankful for their stories, lessons, and patience of these remarkable men. As much as we loved it, at times, we sure won't miss hearing it. Find some ground, do it now. To my fellow recruits, or should I say correctional officers, my brothers and sisters in the black and gray, I now address you. I am grateful to have shared this experience with you. It has been my honor and extreme privilege to train and sweat beside each and every one of you. My faith is unbreakable in each of you. We have received the knowledge, training, and tools to be successful. It's now up to us as to what we will do with it. Please promise to always strive to be the best versions of yourselves and to never lose your square. I believe I speak for the entire Sally Langley Class of 2020 when I say thank you to our families and friends for your unwavering support, patience, and encouragement. Guaranteed, this would not be possible without you. Thank you.
We are now honored to have the class namesake, Sally Langley, who will present the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, Sally Langley.
Thank you so very much. It's truly an honor for me to be here today, to represent the department, to represent all that I believe is good in the department. I had a chance yesterday to meet with our wonderful class, Sally Langley Class. Wow. I'm super impressed. Not only did they give me all their full attention, but they also laughed at my jokes. So how much better could that be, right? I talked to them yesterday about policy and procedure. One of the things that was absolutely drilled into my head when I came to the Department of Corrections is there's policy and procedure. And you better know it and you better follow it, because if you don't, consequences will take place. I took it to heart. I learned my policy and procedure. I made sure that everybody that I worked with or worked under me knew that policy and procedure was first and foremost, including my two sons who became corrections officers, and now my grandson who's become a corrections officer. So I guess I'm the mother of a group, huh? What a group. Anyway, they were all successful, and Josh, who's a corrections representative, yes, and at the Cooper Street facility, still refers to me as Warden Grandma. But none of you had better ever call me Granny, okay? Okay. We talked yesterday about the need to follow policy and procedure, It's not only important for the department to see you do it, but it's important for the prisoners to see you do it. We all live within laws and guidelines every single day of the year. These folks that we work with, and I'm talking about the prisoners, not necessarily for the other staff, have made a career out of circumventing those policies and procedures that we all hold. It doesn't matter whether they're going too fast on a motorcycle, or if they're robbing a liquor store, or if they're taking someone else's life. They know what they're doing. They should be held accountable. And it's up to you as corrections officers, it's up to everyone who is a corrections employee to make sure that they're held accountable. When I say that, when I came to the department, I had someone tell me something that I've always remembered. There are two views to corrections. One is the prisoners come to be punished. The other view is coming to prison is the punishment. Think about that for a minute. Do you want to be known as the person that's going to be the one that's going to hold them down, that's not going to help them become a better person? Or do you want to be the role model that they want to emulate when they go back out into society? Hopefully you're going to want to be the role model. You're going to be the one who is not going to take everything that they say personally. Because believe me, it doesn't take very long for them to stand and watch you and get under your skin. They know the day that you've had a bad day coming in, that you've had a fight with your significant other, that you don't feel very well, that perhaps you were out a little too late last night with a certain libation, and you don't really want to be there, but you figure you better be there anyway. They know they have 24 hours a day to watch you. And they watch you. So please, when you come into the prison and you clock in, leave whatever experiences you've had with both positive and negative outside the gate. Come in, be the officer that you want to be every single day, and the officer that Director Washington wants you to be, that I want you to be as a former warden, as a taxpayer. You're there to do a job. You're not there to punish necessarily. There are going to be days when you have to pick up the misconduct pad and write a misconduct. Before you do that, think to yourself quickly, is there a way that I can handle this without doing a misconduct? And lots of times there are. Yesterday I told you a little story about my son Chris, who worked in RNGC. I'm going to tell everybody this story because I think it exemplifies what I want you to know. He was working in the bubble at RNGC, and for those of you who don't know what a bubble is, it's the gates coming into the prison. And these prisoners were chained together. They were coming back from court in Detroit, I believe. And the first prisoner got in the gates with the gates closed and took a look at my son and said, and looked at his name tag that said Langley, and said, Langley. There used to be an old witch, and I'm using it for a politically correct term, that worked inside. And the next one said, well, he's got to be related. Look at him. He looks just like her. Unfortunately, I have to shave my mustache. But anyway. The next one made another disparaging remark. And Chris, being the person that he is, instead of getting out the misconduct report book, he clicked on the microphone and he said, listen guys, I'll make you a deal. You don't talk about my mother and I won't talk about yours. And that calmed everything right down. Use your words if you can possibly do that. I'm not telling you to ignore bad behavior. I'm not telling you to not write a ticket when there's bad behavior, but sometimes you can just diffuse the whole situation with a couple of well-placed words. I'm very, very proud of you. I was very, very impressed yesterday with the class. I think you're going to be splendid corrections officers. And as much as I would like to say I wish you worked for me, I'm really glad I'm retired. Thank you so much.
Recognizes the superior achievement of members from this graduating class. On behalf of Director Washington and the Michigan Department of Corrections, we present the following awards. Presenting the Josephine McCallum and Jack Budd Awards is Training Supervisor Dennis Mesner.
Good afternoon. In 1987, Josephine McCollum and Jack Budd, two officers from the same recruit class, died in the line of duty. To memorialize these tragic events, awards are given in their names. As Josephine McCollum and Jack Budd received their certificates and completion and shook hands with their platoon leaders and fellow officers, it is likely they are feeling much the same as you are today. Josephine McCollum and Jack Budd were people on the threshold of a new career, and both were committed to excelling and becoming the very best they could in everything they did. The Josephine McCollum Award is presented to the recruit who demonstrated good moral character, an outstanding positive attitude, and concern for his or her fellow recruit, as well as behavior that reflects positively on the department as a whole. Nominees and the recipient of this award are chosen by the recruit class. The recipient for this distinguished award will receive a letter of recognition from Director Washington. Assisting with the presentation of the Josephine McCollum and Jack Budd Award is Deputy Director Ken McKee. The nominees from the class will stand as I call their names. The nominees for the Josephine McCollum Award are Officer Kurt Smith, Officer Jackson Wells. It's with a great deal of pleasure that we recognize Officer Jackson Wells for this award. Officer Wells, post. The Jack Budd Award is presented to the recruit who has put forth an uncommon effort to improve their abilities needed to succeed as a corrections officer. Nominees are selected by each platoon, and the recipient is chosen by the training staff. The recipient of this distinguished award will also receive a letter of recognition from Director Washington. The nominees selected from the class will stand as I call their names. The nominees for the Jack Budd Award are Officer Mercedes Bartholomew, Officer Gerald Burton. It's with a great deal of pleasure that we recognize Officer Gerald Burton for this award. Officer Burton. Congratulations.
Presenting the Academic Achievement Awards is Platoon Leader Richard Barr. Assisting with the presentation of the Academic Achievement Awards, Deputy Director Leah Hewlett.
Apologize for that. Academic success and officer recruit training is vital for all officers. It must be achieved in order to graduate from the program. It is a tradition to recognize the recruit from each graduating class who has scored the highest academically and present him or her with an Academic Excellence Award. This award includes a letter from Director Washington, a certificate recognizing the officer's achievement, and a pin which can be worn with the uniform. Before making the presentation to the top academic achiever, I would like to recognize the runners-up. Each runner-up will receive a certificate and an academic achievement pin, which will be handed out with their graduation certificate. When I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Officer Sam Beaverson. Officer John Timonen. Officer Cole Brawl. And Officer Alex Johnson. It is now my pleasure to announce the top academic achiever. The top academic achiever for the Sally Langley Class is Officer Mason Hinnan. Post.
At this time, Director Washington will lead the Sally Langley Class in reciting their oath of office.
Class, attention!
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Order! On! Ready? Cease!
At this time, Director Washington will present military appreciation coins to recruits with honorable military service. Assisting with presentation will be military veteran and new employee training supervisor Dennis Mesnard. Ladies and gentlemen, Director Washington and Mr. Mesnard.
Military recruits, attention! Post!
Officer Benjamin Vick, United States Army. Officer Leland Nellis III, Army National Guard. Officer Jacob Brunels, Army National Guard. Officer Lisa K. Szynski, United States Army. Officer Philip Smith, United States Marine Corps. Officer Jackson Wells, United States Army. Will our active military members and veterans in the audience today please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, please give our recruits and all the military service members and veterans in the audience today a round of applause for their
Presenting the graduation certificates to 1st Platoon, our platoon leader, Richard Barr, and Field Training Officer Timothy McBride. Those interested in taking photos or video may approach the stage as their graduate receives their certificate.
Class, attention! Right face! Forward, march!
Officer Mercedes Bartholomew. Officer Sam Beaverson. Officer Trevor Blair. Officer Taylor Bordeaux. Officer Gerald Burton.
Got 5 more before she comes up.
Officer Benjamin Ficht. Officer Devin Forrest. Officer Skylar Fortin. Officer Dylan Godfrey. Officer Brandon Gravel. Officer Jesse Lee Harmon. Officer Mason Hananen. Officer Alex Johnson. Officer Thomas Johnson. Officer Hunter Josephson. Officer Austin Leighton.
We didn't even get a picture.
Officer Hunter Levine.
We didn't even get a picture with him. That's the third one.
Officer Giovanni Mancini.
Third one from the thing.
Officer Nicholas Newborn. Officer Tony Myers. Officer Leland Nellis III. Officer Brady Davis. Officer Cole Perrault. Officer Jacob Rindells. Officer Lisa K. Sosinski. Officer Philip Smith. Officer John Tiernan Jr. Officer Melissa Valiquette. Officer Christina Van Gelderen. Officer Jackson Wells. Congratulations and welcome to the Michigan Department of Corrections. Ready? Cease!
There will be a reception for these graduating officers in the Sisler Center. Family and friends are invited to attend the reception. If you are interested in some unique department apparel and other items, please visit the online store representatives in the lobby as you leave today's graduation ceremony. For those officers who receive special awards, please remember to return to the stage immediately after being dismissed. If you are able, please stand while the honor guard retires the colors.
Class, attention!
Honor guard, tired, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Sally Langley Class and our next generation of correction officers for the Michigan Department of Corrections. Thank you for attending today and have a very safe trip home.